So we're continuing where we left off last time in Halachot Hashkamat Haboker, and we're in the subject of Hanhagat Bet HaKiseh, the way a person has to, the customs that we have to have, or really the way we should handle ourselves when we're in the restroom in the morning when we wake up. A person should be very, very careful to clean themselves thoroughly after using the restroom. And they should definitely for sure use water. This is very important, and we're going to discuss this. Because the main part of cleansing oneself is with water, not with anything else. If a person has, there are people that are too sensitive, washing themselves with water might be a little bit, they don't like it. It might be disgusting to them. Then they should get baby wipes or wet wipes and use those instead, so that they can clean themselves thoroughly. Or if the person has no water whatsoever, you're stuck, you're in an airport, you're in the airplane, or whatever it is, you don't have access to water or wet wipes. He has to clean himself very well with toilet paper. Okay, so now there is also, the Gemara brings down Gemara Shabbat. The way people used to clean themselves those days, in 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, I don't know how far back or forward it goes, but it was, first of all, bathrooms. This is one of the things that we have to literally thank Hashem for on a daily basis. The fact that we have restrooms in our homes. Okay? Back in the day, people did not have restrooms in their homes. I remember growing up where, going to my grandparents' homes, my grandparents didn't have restrooms. It was in the yard. Right? There was a time where people are familiar with, people either didn't have it altogether, bichlal, in their homes whatsoever, not even in the yard, and they had to actually go to the public area in the, the bathhouses or whatever it is. Showers they for sure didn't have in their homes. Bathrooms would be in the yard. If you were very, very rich, you would have restrooms in your home. Right? I remember we visited Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi's home, which was in a city in Israel called Tzipori. When the archaeologists found his home, this is during the times of the Romans, right? After the times of the Romans, one of the fascinating things that they found was that he had a bathroom in his home, which was unbelievable. For someone to have a restroom, private restroom in their home, meant you are up here, and literally, this is the king. And that's what Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi was. Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi was partners with Antoninos, right? He was learning partners with Antoninos, who was at the time the Romans, the prince or Caesar or whatever he was called. So he had restrooms. They didn't have restrooms. They had to go out. And the Gemara Shabbat discusses even for Shabbat. Why? Because they had to clean themselves with stones, with very smooth stones that they had in the outskirts or in the fields. That's what they used to clean themselves with, right? And the Gemara in Shabbat discusses whether that's muktzeh, if it's not muktzeh, if you had left it there from before, are you able to touch? Because these are rocks, right? You can't touch on Shabbat. What do you want to do with a stone? A stone, you're not allowed to touch a stone on the street, right? Because it's muktzeh. Anyway, that's Halachot Shabbat. But then over there it brings out a concern. The concern is that a person should not use anything that is or has been made through fire. Something that's susceptible to fire or has been made through fire, a person should not clean themselves with. For instance, clay. The Gemara brings a case where a person, let's say, goes to the restroom. Again, the restrooms were in the fields. There was no room or anything. They had to go out on the fields, find a private area, and go to the bathroom. So this is over there. The person finds a broken piece of clay, which was used, let's say, at one point was, it's a shard from a bowl, whatever it is. It's smooth enough. But the Gemara says they should not use clay. Because things that were susceptible to fire or had at one point gone through fire to be made are susceptible to black magic. And they should not be used. If a person uses them, they are leaving themselves open to black magic. Now I know it's crazy, right? But believe it or not, it is black magic and sorcery is a very, very real thing. And because of it, people had to literally watch out. The Gemara even brings a story where the Chachamim were once on a boat and they were traveling from one place to another. You know, imagine you're driving on a road. They were traveling on a boat. And a lady, a woman, who she was a witch, she asks the rabbis for a ride. She says, "Can you also take me with you?" And they did not want to take her. Right? They didn't want a witch, an actual witch. Can you believe it? They didn't want a witch on their boat, so they say, "No, we're not. No, thank you. We're full. Uber only allows per boat, and so sorry. We're maxed out." What does she do? She uses a spell, and their boat gets stuck. Cannot move. It's in the water, and the boat just stops on the water. Right? What do the Chachamim do? Boom. They had it. You know what I'm saying? They pull out a spell from their pocket, they go wham! And the boat starts going again. Right? Because they knew the counter spell. And she says, the Gemara says, what can I do that the Chachamim know exactly what not to do in order not to be susceptible to black magic and sorcery? And these are things that were very, very real. At least at one point, they were very, very real. And they had to really be careful because they're very, it's not just in this. It's not things that we only hear in the stories, right? And they're saved from this witch. So therefore, now the question over here is toilet paper, because if really this is something that is in halakha that you should not use something that has gone through fire. Basically, what it means it's been processed. Anything that's been processed has at one point been processed through some kind of fire. All toilet paper, most toilet paper are recycled, right? Anything recycled has gone through fire. Is that correct?
Hot water.
Hot water has something to do with being in fire. So what does the halakha do with that? So why is it that today everybody uses things that have at one point have some kind of contact to do with fire? So the Chachamim, there's a lot of reasons that they bring down, one of which that it says, that was in their time, number one. Number two, that was only because those days, the halakha was that because there was no private restrooms and it was in an open area, that made you more open and in a danger zone, so to speak. But today's day and age, when everything is in private and it's your own private bathroom, it's not like it was before. So you don't have to worry about these things. And those minhagim have been long, long lost. Interesting thing though. Interestingly enough, it doesn't say anything about, well, today there's no such thing as black magic, so no. It doesn't say anything like that. It doesn't say that there is no more sorcery today, because in fact, unfortunately, there is. Now, it's much, much, much less. There's a lot of fakers out there, because people just don't have the information. They don't have the chokhmah of it. That koach hatum'ah, that impure koach, the powers they don't have, but it's out there. It's one of those impurities that exist in the world that if someone taps into, they can do it. But by the way, the Chachamim, the Anshe Sanhedria Gedolah, the men of the Great Assembly, the Jewish court, the 120 elders, one of their requirements was they had to know every single rule and regulation of sorcery. They had to know all the in and outs of black magic and sorcery. If you wanted to become the top chachamim, this was one of the sciences, so to speak, that you had to know. Mathematics, all that stuff aside, sciences, you also had to know astrology, astronomy, all these things, and you also had to know black magic. Why? Because what are people going to do if they're affected by it? Who are they going to go to? The chachamim had to know the spells and the counter spells. So they actually had to learn these things. Right? There's stories in the Gemara, I think in Brachot, that brings down that, one of the Chachamim would like snap of a finger would make an entire field grow carrots through sorcery, right? To teach that it's possible. You could actually do these things. Today they call it miracle grow. I'm kidding. No one even got that. What? Okay. Shall we continue, sir? Right. טוב להקפיד בקטן, שהגיע לחינוך, שיהיה גופו נקי אחר עשיית צרכיו. Okay, I missed something. Now, the reason why the halacha says that a person has to always make sure that they're very clean is because, God forbid, chas v'shalom, if a person is not clean after using the restroom, you can't daven. You can't put on tefillin, you can't pray. Because a person that's metunaf, you have that reach ra, that smell, or just being unclean, an unclean person, cannot daven like that. You go to the gym, you sweat, you run, and you have that smell on you. You can't daven like that. You can't do mincha like that. You have to dry off, make sure you smell good, clean yourself, and then you could daven. Anytime a person is going for prayer, for tefillah, you have to understand that you're going in front of the king, right? Would you go in front of would you go into an interview? Forget a king. Would you go in an interview smelling or being dirty? You have to think the same way. Whenever a person is getting themselves ready to be mitpalel, to daven to Hashem, to pray to Hashem, that's the same way it has to be. You have to make sure you are clean. Especially since HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows the in and outs of a person. It's not just your outside you have to be worried about. You have to be internally clean. Also, you have to also make sure, even children that are not 13 years old, you need to be on top of them to make sure that they learn and they understand the importance of being cleansy. No, cleanliness is not just, let's put halakha aside, it's just healthy. Health-wise, a person has to learn to be raised healthy. Now, what we mentioned right now, the importance of washing with water, it is very important. And unfortunately, in the Western world, it almost doesn't exist because of the way of the world today in the Western world is toilet paper, but it's very unhealthy and it's not clean. And God forbid, in the future it could have issues. So you have to make sure, a person has to always make sure that it's either with something that is moist or use water to clean. And the mother and the father are responsible to make sure children are also the same way. And they learn how to stay clean. Okay, so when we said, the whole part of being clean is because you have to daven, you have to be mitpalel, you have to be... How about if a child is not clean? Right? They're not completely clean. Can you teach them Torah? Can you teach them to say brachot? To make ha'etz? So it says for chinuch you can. Even though because it's only for chinuch. Chinuch means you're still training the kid. So all of it is considered training. You don't have to be so hard. Because l'chatchilat, they're not obligated to make brachot yet. They're not obligated to make the blessings, or you're teaching them. So for the sake of teaching them, it's okay, even if you know that they're not clean. Okay, said that. A person should not clean themselves with their right hand. They should always clean themselves with their left hand. A lefty. A person that's a lefty, obviously it's vice versa. If you're a lefty, then you shouldn't clean with your left, you should clean with your right. It says, but there are those that say no, it's the same way. Even if you're a lefty, it doesn't matter. You should still not use your right, because the right hand of a person is klapei shechina. The right hand of a person, yad yamin, always represents God's glory, always represents Hashem's shechina. So it has higher importance. Like we discussed in the beginning about putting shoes on in the morning and wearing your clothes. Right always comes first, the right side of the body. However, he says, today's day and age, when we use paper anyway, you're not really touching yourself. It's fine if you're not doing that. Huh?
You do it right because on the left you put tefillin.
Right. So a lot of people think that that's actually what it is because of tefillin. That has to do with it too. right? But Yad Yamin has more importance either way.
I understand that.
And the right side of the body is chesed, it's Kalapei Shekhinah, and therefore whatever we do, we always give the more respect to the right side of the body. Right shoe first, right hand first.
So that we shouldn't do it with the right. We should do it with the left.
So that's what he's saying. So he's saying some people say you should still do it with your left hand, right? But today's an age, anyway, when you're doing it with paper, you're not really touching your body or whatever is dirty, then you don't have to worry about it that much if you're doing it like that.
Question that left-handed people.
Right, we said left-handed people also. There's a machloket, it's a discussion whether you should use your right hand instead or not. But since today's...
He doesn't know what he used it for. He doesn't know. I don't think he was on the...
We're talking about cleaning themselves after using the bathroom.
They use the right hand.
Right, use the left hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, he says because today we use toilet paper anyway, right? It's still okay. For people that don't use toilet paper and they use water to wash themselves, right? That would be an issue because the right hand always gets precedence. But if you're a lefty, then your left hand is your strong arm, and it's okay to use your right hand. Good? You're welcome. Please take a seat. Okay. A person that goes to do number one, lo yital ma'amidah. Okay, so a person that goes to do number one, very simple. I think everybody already knows this. They have to be very careful that it doesn't. If you're, you're driving by the side of the highway, you need to go. You have to be careful that it doesn't get. It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't get everywhere. It doesn't get, to make you dirty. Yizar be'etsham. Okay. We'll do this part. Okay. יש להחמיר לכתחילה, שלא להכניס אוכלים ומשקים לבית הכיסא. It's okay. Jonathan.
It's the Wi-Fi that's not working.
No problem. It's no problem. I want you to just pay attention to the class. A person should be mahmir. He should be stringent when it comes to taking food into the bathroom. You looked at me like, oh my gosh, I'm always taking my food in the bathroom. What?
You should never do that.
You shouldn't do it. Afilu hem. Okay, so he says, even if they're in a bag, they're covered up, don't take them in the restroom. Don't take food into the bathroom. Velachen. So I guess, I don't know, maybe some people just don't have room in their home. So maybe there's cabinets inside their bathrooms and they put their food products in cabinets over there. He says you shouldn't put it in the bathroom. But b'di'avad, however, if you have no other choice, it's okay. Ve'im yesh lo bekis begeder ochlim. So let's say in his pocket he's holding some food products, he's got a candy or whatever it is, or other things in his pocket, and there's nowhere else to put it. We discussed this last week when we talked about holy stuff, like having a little sidur in your pocket or a little tehillim. So he says if you have also food in your pocket and there is nowhere else you put it, then it's okay. And fruits that don't really have their own cover, like regular fruits, like you have a pear in your pocket and you walk into the bathroom, right? When you come out, you want to eat them, you should wash them 3 times before you eat them. And if it's not possible, you don't have water, you're somewhere that you need to eat your fruit, it's still okay. Now, what's the scenario of fruit or food in the bathroom? It's not. We're not discussing here like a ruach ra'ah, like a bad type of energy that goes on the food. This is just talking about, mostly it's health-wise, and it's somewhere that's dirty. You don't take something that you're going to eat into an air that's dirty. Like for instance, for Netilat Yadayim, the halacha is, if you want to do Netilat Yadayim, let's say you want to eat food, right? And there's a cup of water that's already been filled and it's in the bathroom. And it's been there in the bathroom, let's say, overnight. You can't use that water to do Netilat Yadayim to eat. Because that water has been susceptible to all the tum'ah that's inside the bathroom, the impurities. You can't use that water to be matahir your hands, to cleanse your hands for Netilat Yadayim for food, right? But he says when it comes to food itself, it's not talking about ruchra, the tum'ah that's in the bathroom. It's just talking about health-wise. You know, you want to eat something, you shouldn't take it in the bathroom. There's a lot of people that keep pills in their pockets too. That's okay too. You keep pills, you need your pills, Tylenol or whatever it is for headaches, and you keep it in your pocket, that's fine also. Not a problem. Questions so far?
I could go.
Yes.
Water bottle in my backpack? Not inside the backpack itself.
It's on the side thing, that side thing. Well, he says, but diavad, it's okay. You know, but and it's closed.
Yeah.
So it's best not to, right? Because again, it's the bathroom.
Like gum.
Yeah.
Gum.
Same thing. I would say same thing. It's bediavad. If it's, I mean, gum usually has two covers anyway, so you're even better. Even better. Okay, now we're going to go into just a very quickly short subject of placement of the bed, and that's it. And then we go into the halachot of netilat yadayim for shachrit. Also, the bed, a person should try their best as much as they can to set up that their bed is between east and south. Meaning, huh?
Someone just told me that yesterday.
Really? Okay.
The head is east.
Right. Your head should always be set up towards the east. Now there is a lot of discussions about this, whether this is only in Eretz Israel, or if it's even outside of Eretz Israel, or whether this is actually talking about when you're sleeping in the open, not sleeping in your own bedroom. There's a lot of discussions. So, end of the day, you should try your best, if it's possible, to sleep like that. If it's possible to sleep with your head facing the east and your feet not facing the east, right? Or if you're going to go the other way, it's fine also. Meaning
north-south.
North-south instead of east-west, right? Okay. Any questions? Yes. No problem. I love how clear these halachot are. Nobody has questions. It's either that or everybody's asleep.
I have something disgusting to say.
But no, let's not say it, but this is being recorded. After, when we turn it off.
No, I mean it's part of the...
Let's keep it after it's... Bechol yom. Every day, after we wake up in the morning, she'akum mitato, mita. You have to be very careful, by the way. I have to say this. Many people do not know this, okay? We have two words in the beautiful Lashon HaKodesh language, our wonderful, beautiful Hebrew language, okay? We have mita and we have mita. They're very, very different things. Mita means death. Mita with a tet means a bed, right? So when we're saying Kriyat Shema la mita, means Kriyat Shema of bedtime. Chas v'shalom, if we say Kriyat Shema la mita, it's a whole different meaning.
Pronounce it again.
Mita with tet has to be pronounced with your tongue touching your teeth. Mita. That's a tet.
Like it would sound like a dalet or tet?
It's like between a taf and a dalet, exactly. Tet. Right? So, no. TH is a taf for some Yemenites. They go Thorah. But this is, no, it's not a TH. It's a very low TH, mita. It's a strong TH though. So we have in our Sidurim, we have for Kriyat Shema Mita, those of you that do the complete Kriyat Shema Mita, it says, Hine mitato shishim giborim savivla. Right? Mitato means his bed of Shel Shlomo HaMelech, right? Chas v'shalom, we don't want to say mitato, his death. Right? Especially at bedtime. So you got to be careful. Anytime you have especially a tet in any word that has a dagesh in it, it's a te, mita, right? So in this case, Ashkenazim kind of have it, because it's not Misa, it's Mita. So, but Sephardim, you have to be very careful to put. Huh?
I'm glad I came.
It's very important to put the differentiation between Taf and a Tet, right? Samech, Sadi, Sin. There's differences, very, very minute, but there are differences. So someone that's an expert in Diktuk, when they speak, you know exactly when they're using a Samech, Tzadi, Sin. There are very minute differences in these, although a lot of people do not know them, and sometimes when someone that knows these things starts davening for the Amud, everyone thinks they're crazy. But, want to share? I'm kidding. So every morning when a person wakes up in the morning, they have to what? Wash their hands with water from a keli, from a vessel. And we're going to
Can you touch your phone first?
Can you touch your phone first? That's a very modern and very, very good question. Okay? I would say, don't touch anything until you get to the bathroom. At least wash your hands with soap, which is going to be discussed. There's ruach ra'ah that's on a person's hands. You shouldn't touch anything, especially places on your body that have openings. Your nose, your mouth, your ears, your eyes should not be touched with your hands when you wake up in the morning. Very importante. You have a question, Moshe?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Let's talk about what time we should wake up.
I can't help you there, but he doesn't talk about what time you should wake up. But we have a minyan here, 7:10 every morning. You should definitely wake up 6:30 to come to 7:10. But so vayvarech kodem haniguv, and a person should make the blessing when the bracha. When do we make the bracha after we do netilat yadayim?
After we wash.
After you wash, before we dry. It is a mistake that people make. They wash their hands, and while they're drying their hands, they make netilat yadayim. No, it's no good. You have to make netilat yadayim, and as your hands are wet, you make the bracha like this. You raise your hands up. You make the bracha.
Outside the bathroom.
Oh yes, definitely. Please do this outside of the bathroom. Thank you. You make the bracha on netilat yadayim, then you dry your hands. Do not dry your hands because then you are going to be stuck in a safek.
Wash in the bathroom, then say the bracha outside.
Yes, if you don't have another place to wash, make sure the toilet seat is covered. You cover it, you wash netilat yadayim in the bathroom, make netilah outside. But the best scenario is to wash elsewhere outside of the bathroom. I'm saying this only especially for the netilat yadayim of the morning and netilat yadayim of food. These two are important. Other netilahs, you could be more makel, but let's stick with this subject for now. And the bracha is Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'sivanu al netilat yadayim. Another diktuk lesson for today. The brachot that we make, it is very, very important to divide the brachot into 3 divided mini sentences, right? Especially brachot that have asher kideshanu. Especially for us Persians, where sometimes we put the commas over there. The sentence is here and the comma gets lost over there, right? Because unfortunately sometimes we don't know the meanings of the sentences, right? Or we go Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'sivanu al netilat yadayim. Or Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, or Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'sivanu al netilat yadayim. Make up your mind where you want to put these commas. Take a deep breath. Okay. This is how you make a bracha. You divide it into 3. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'sivanu al netilat yadayim. No, I'm saying, but I meant 3 by 3. Baruch atah Hashem. Some of them are going to be 4s, but most of the time the brachot are going to be cut into 3 3 3s.
It was like 3 breaks.
Oh, you didn't know what I meant. I'm so sorry. Let's repeat. The reason why I'm saying this, Baruch atah Hashem, blessed are you God. Elokeinu melech haolam, our God, the King of the universe. Asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav, you have made us holy with He has made us holy with His mitzvot. Vetzivanu, and has commanded us al netilat yadayim, on the commandment of netilat yadayim. When we say Asher Kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav vetzivanu, we're saying that He has commanded us with His commandments and commanded us, and then we cut that over there and we go al netilat yadayim, on the netilat yadayim. No, Asher Kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav, He has made us holy with His mitzvot and commanded us with this mitzvah. Right? Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam shehakol nihya bidvaro. Baruch atah Hashem bidvaro. He has no clue what you just said. No, not even the angels can grab your brachot like that. You know, He's what?
God, He understands everything.
Right, I like that. We're not going to get into the philosophical discussion of He's God. If He's God and He understands anything, just don't say anything and just eat all day. He knows you love Him, right? Try saying that to your wife one day. What do you mean I didn't buy you flowers? You know I love you. Does that work? Thank you. Monday night classes, we learn about everything. How to not become a badbacht, how to become... Asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav vetzivanu al netilat yadayim. That's the bracha, right? So now, even though meikar adin, really al pi halacha, you don't really need to, according to many, you don't really need to use a keli, a vessel, for washing hands in the morning, when we wake up in the morning. The keli that we need, the utensil that we use to make netilat yadayim, that you for sure need when you're making netilat yadayim lechatchila for bread, when you want to eat bread. But netilat yadayim for morning, you don't really need it, right? However, that has become the minhag, and a lot of poskim agree that you should use a netila cup. Mikol makom, therefore, katav maram b'shulchan aruch, the Shulchan Aruch says, Shetov lahakpid benetilat yadayim shacharit. It is very important that a person should be very stringent and pay attention to the netilat yadayim of shacharit. Bechol hadvarim hama'akevim benetilat yadayim mes'uda. With all the stringencies that a person uses when you're doing netilat yadayim for a sa'udah, for eating bread. That's the most stringent thing. In halachat netilat yadayim, the most stringent is when you want to eat bread. So the Shulchan Aruch says, even in the morning, use the same criteria that you would use for eating bread. Use a netila cup, do it right, do it outside of the bathroom. Because when you're using a vessel, then you're able to make the bracha of al netilat yadayim. And that's the minhag. Ulam. מי שנמצא במקום שאין שם כלי ליטול את ידיו, ייטול ידיו מהברז ג' פעמים לסורגין, אך לא יברך על נטילת ידיים, בספק ברכות להקל. However, if you find yourself somewhere that you don't have a vessel, you can't find a cup or anything to wash netilat yadayim, and you just woke up in the morning, you need to do netilat yadayim. You could do the same way with the faucet, right? Which we do 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? And you should use koach gavra. Koach gavra means you have to use the strength of your hand to do it. Meaning, don't open the faucet and just go like that. Koach gavra means it has to be with your power. Manual. You need to manual. So what do? You got to kind of take the faucet, go like that, keep opening and shutting it, put your hand under it, put your hand on like that. Am I being clear? Right? However, because you're not using a vessel, you do not make al netilat yadayim. Why? Because netila, natla, is a name of a vessel that they used to use in Aramaic. When we make al netilat yadayim, we're actually kind of including the name of that vessal that was called the natla. Therefore, when you're not using that vessel, it's a safek, it's questionable whether you could make al netilat yadayim. And the question comes up, we'll talk, this is the morning. The question comes up whether, right, you could make the bracha al nikui yadayim. Instead of making netilat yadayim, if you don't have a vessel, make the bracha al nikui yadayim, which means on cleaning my hands. Asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav vetzivanu. Or what?
Tihur yada.
Whichever. Something to do with cleaning hands. We will pick this up. Be'ezrat Hashem Yitbarach. Next week, we will review this halacha and so much more. Now I'd like to get to the Musar part because we have 10 minutes left. Now we go to our Musar. Last week we discussed the subject of Emuna, having faith, bitachon in Hashem. Right? What it means to believe that there is a source, the higher power. We're not just here alone. We're not just, we don't believe in the whole Big Bang theory and then everything is just whatever, hefker, veilun, with no owner, with nobody taking care of everything. It's just a chaotic world. There's no chaos in the world other than the chaos that we cause. The world itself, the universe itself, is perfectly managed. It's beautiful. It's a harmonious universe. So he says, a person should understand anything that happens in your life, whether you look at it as something bad or good, you will see in the future, God willing, someday, that most of the time you'll be able to see this in your own future, that even the things that you thought were bad, all happened for a reason. All worked out, somehow, one way or another. However, sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs to kind of turn the events in a way where it doesn't look so good. At least to us it doesn't look so good. But how do we know? We have to always look at Hashem as if we're talking about Hashem as someone above, let's say. He's above, right? Imagine he's looking from very, very far above and he sees the entire globe clearly. And the entire globe, the entire universe, let's say, not only just the globe of the earth, the entire universe is a domino effect. So one little thing that he does to you, let's say, you might think like, hey, what was that for? What are you doing? Right? I paid so much money this year. I gave sadaqah. What? Where did it go? I have my name on Pelach. Dedicated, Why? But you don't really know that little nudge or whatever it was a domino effect, something that had to happen somewhere, God knows where, for some kind of event to happen, that is actually the best thing that could ever happen. You might never see it. You might never experience it. But it is what it is. It's good. That's why it was read last week. When Moshiach comes, there is no bracha of Dayan HaEmet anymore. The bracha that a person makes after, God forbid, should never be for at the wrong time. Dayan HaEmet a person makes when they lose somebody. Because it's such a sad, sad moment. They say Baruch Hashem Dayan HaEmet, which means God is He's the just judge. He knows. When Moshiach comes, there is no bracha of Dayan HaEmet anymore.
Because nobody will die.
Not only that, it's not only about that. Dayan HaEmet is not only with that. There's other things. Why don't we? Because everything is so clear. Everything would be Shechianu v'Kiyamanu v'Egyanu. Every situation would be turned into what? Hatov v'Ametiv. God is good and He does good. Simple. That's why we said last week, on that day, He will be one and His name will be one. What day? In the future, when we see everything clearly, on that day, it's the same God, all through and through. שזה לא טוב חס ושלום, ומי לנו גדול מיוסף הצדיק, שעבר בעולם הזה את כל הקשיים הנוראים, יוסף הצדיק. Who do we have more than, who do we have that are turbulent times in their life more than Yosef HaTzadik? No.
David HaMelech.
No. Someone said David HaMelech. More than Yosef HaTzadik?
Yeah.
Nope. David HaMelech might have been abused or might have been looked down upon by his brothers. But was he sold as a slave to Egypt? Did he have those challenges? For 12 years to have the challenges of huh? Eov, okay. I hear you. Yes, Eov, I hear you. But I can't discuss why Eov can't be used as an example here. Right? Yosef Sadiq is the best example for this scenario. Right? What?
Why can't she use it?
It's a subject that I don't want to get into right now. What? Why are you always causing trouble? Every time, this guy, man, you don't understand. But Yosef HaTzadik, not only he had challenges of physical challenges that he went through in his life, he had a lot of spiritual and emotional challenges that he had to pass. No one could. I don't understand how anybody could pass those. He really was put in the worst situations ever with no hope. Everybody looks at Yosef HaTzadik's story. Everyone looks at, let's put it this way. Everyone reads the story of Yosef HaTzadik and they go, oh, so beautiful. How Yosef HaTzadik was such a tzaddik. Look at what he did. And then they question things like, Yosef HaTzadik was in jail for 10 years and 2 years got added. Why did 2 years get added to his sentence in jail? Because he asked the head of the winery of Paro, Zechartani ve'izkartani, please remember me to Paro. He said Zechartani ve'izkartani twice, 2 years got added. And we have the audacity to ask, Yosef HaTzadik, of course, if you have such Emuna, why did you ask him to remember you to Paro? You should have remembered, you should have just trusted God. How dare we even ask such a question? We wouldn't even have passed a second of the challenges of Yosef HaTzadik. Not a second. 10 years he was in a dungeon. You think he was having a time of his life? Not only in a dungeon, 10 years he thought his brothers, everybody abandoned him. His dad didn't even want him. Nobody wanted him. You know how hopeless a person becomes? Anybody else in this situation would have given up and would have taken the opportunity to be with Potiphar's wife, to take over his business and become a somebody. Tell me I'm wrong. Who would have, in the right mind, reacted the way Yosef HaTzadik did? Right? All those challenges, and he took it. And at the end, this is the beauty of Yosef HaTzadik. It doesn't end there. At the end, his brothers are in front of Yosef, and he finally reveals himself to them. Ani Yosef. Ha'od avichai, I am Yosef, is my father alive? What do the brothers do? Nothing. What would you do? They're scared, they're terrified, they're upset, they're sad, they're depressed, they're sorry, they put their heads down in shame. Yosef HaTzadik doesn't even give them a moment to swallow it. He doesn't even give them a moment to ponder this idea of the mistake that they made. He doesn't want to even bask in that, anybody else would have been like, Buchor, take 5 minutes, eat your heart out, and then we'll talk. He doesn't even give them that moment. What does he do? Instantly, he says, don't be afraid. It wasn't you. Kia Elokim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu turned all of these events for me to be here today. Not for a second will I let you take blame. Let's all be honest for a second, okay? Which one of us would have done that? It's not even a contest. It's not even a contest. That's why he's called tzaddik. It's one of the reasons why he's called tzaddik. You have to understand, when we have challenges in our lives, it's very easy to be upset at that moment. But we have to think, Yosef HaTzadik also had those challenges and more. But at the same time, he didn't know what's coming. You think he knew that the turn of events are going to turn out good for him? You think he knew that there is a book that's going to be written and his name is going to be written in that book with his entire story in it? Probably not. He was just a 17-year-old boy being sold as a slave to slave owners. That's all he was. We look at it as, of course, it's Yosef, of course he knows. He's going to become the Pharaoh, just wait. Yeah, for you, it's one parasha. It's easy to go through it. He went through it for 22 years. For us, it's 2 pages, 3 pages. It's easy for us to look at it and say, of course, Yosef, if he wouldn't have passed it, shame, 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 shame. What would you have done for 22 years? What would you have done? Understand? It's not as simple. But that's life. Every aspect of our lives has to be looked through those pair of let's call it, lenses. We have to look at everything that, listen, this is a longer story than we think. This is just today. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a plan. You never know. And everyone has to look at themselves as, I am a Yosef HaTzadik. I am a Moshe Rabbeinu. I am an Aharon HaKohen. I have a story. I'm important. HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves me. There is Hashkacha Pratit. This is not just, you think Yosef HaTzadik, you think Moshe Rabbeinu was thinking, well, I'm Moshe Rabbeinu. No, to him, he wasn't Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay? He was just Moshe, a child that was put into a river by his mom to survive, and he was raised in Pharaoh's home, and he was literally 1 foot Egyptian, 1 foot Jew, You think he thought of himself as the leader of Am Yisrael? You think he thought at one point his name is going to be written down as Moshe Anav Me'od Mikol Adam? He was the most humble person in the world that has ever known. You think he was going to be, he knew that one day his name is going to be written in the Torah, being mentioned as Eved Hashem, the servant of Hashem? I don't think so. I think at one point in his life, he was also just trying to do the right thing, and turbulent times in his life came and went, but he still believed in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's life. We believe in Hashem no matter what, in all the ups and downs of our lives, because we have that koach from our ancestors, from our forefathers, in our bloodline, to be able to stand up and say, Gamzu l'tova, everything happens for a reason. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a plan. That's why every day we pray. We say Elokei Abraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. We mention their name in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu because they're the ones that have put into our genes all the challenges in the world that we could pass. Abraham Avinu passed 10 challenges so that his children in all of history could overcome all the challenges. It's in our genes. Self-sacrifice. How many millions of Jews died in the Holocaust? How many of them willingly, literally walked into the Kivshan Ha'esh? Into the fiery furnaces? You know what? Yemach Shemam V'zichram. You know what the Nazis put on top of the furnaces that they were there on top of the doors of the gas chambers? You know what these Yemach Shemam did? They had taken curtains from Batei Knesiyot, from shuls, that were curtains from the Hechal. Right? A lot of times if you look at these curtains in some shuls, the curtain says, on top in big letters, it says, Zeh Ashar LaHashem Tzadikim Yavo Vo. This is the gate to God, the righteous enter here. Imagine, these Reshaim, these Nazis, wanted to use this to hurt the Jews. They put the curtains on top of gas chambers, laughing at them. Go in. Literally, they know that's what gave hope to the Jews walking in there with their own feet. They would look at those words and cry tears of joy. Because they knew with their Emuna, they knew where they're going. They literally were going, this is where the righteous are entering. This is what Am Yisrael has endured because of our Emuna, because of our faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're still here. Where are they? Where are they? Where's Rome? Where's Greece? Where's Italy? Where are they? They don't exist. Every single empire that wanted something to do with us, gone. We're here because of our Emunah. It's the number one thing that a Jew has to hold on to forever. And we'll continue this Bezrat Hashem next week. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen v'amen.